Junkie Media would like to acknowledge the Gadigal people who for centuries have cared for and nurtured the Redfern area of Sydney, where we've recorded this podcast. It's an honour to work and create every day on unceded Gadigal land here in Redfern, the birthplace of the First Nations civil rights movement in Australia. What's your little thing?
My little thing.
Welcome back to Little Things, the self-care podcast where I ask my fave creatives about the little things that make them happy in the hopes that I learn some things about how to make my own life more meaningful. If you were with us last time, obviously you would have heard our really incredible episode with Gaia. And I've been really reflecting on the chat that we had and my own relationship with food and making more of a moment of meal times and taking those kind of like mundane moments that I just like skim straight on past in my normal life and kind of thinking about how I can use those moments as an opportunity to connect with the people around me better, but also to check in with myself a bit more. So like, don't get me wrong, I'm still going to be ordering Uber Eats. And the other thing this conversation with Gaia made me like think about and realize is I need to get a dining room table. I am an adult. And it is time to have a dining room table. Like I think obviously still on the journey, still figuring out kind of my relationship with meal times and drinking and kind of making those moments more special, but really, really loved chatting with her and understanding her perspective as well. But yeah, this week we're speaking to a very different guest. Vic Hollis. She is an incredible, incredible nail artist. I'm really excited to speak with Vic. She has been someone I've been following along with for a while as a fellow nail gal. And we talk really about everything. We talk obviously about her creative inspirations and how she carves out time to be creative when she's super busy. I think for her understanding of self-care is actually discipline. Discipline can be fun because it allows you space to focus on the things that are more important to you. She has a very regimented approach to self-care so that she can show up as the person she wants to be in all the different areas of her life, like whether that is in her creative self and in her business, in her designs for her clients, but also in her relationships too. We come from such different perspectives on that. I've never really thought about planning ahead for future Alice in the way that Vic plans ahead for future Vic, just in terms of like, okay, I know I'm going into a super busy period. I'm going to say no to X, Y, Z. I'm going to be really thinking really consciously about how much I'm drinking in those times. I'm going to be thinking about my caffeine intake. I'm going to be making sure that like, unfortunately, people in my life know that this is a busy time and I'm going to need their support and also just like a bit of leeway. Like if we want to sit and chill and doom scroll together in complete nonverbal like silence, that's what we're going to have to do. So thank you so much to Vic for coming on to the podcast. This is a really great chat that I think you're going to love. Thank you so much to Angostura Bitters for supporting us in making this podcast. And here's Vic now. Hi. And thanks so much for coming. This is really exciting.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh.
Nervous and excited?
Nervous and excited. No, I'm super excited. But the first question I want to ask you,
Hit me.
What's your little thing?
My little thing? My little thing is do not disturb.
Okay.
Don't disturb me.
At any time, place.
No. My phone has been on do not disturb. I think it's like bordering like 3 years now. I don't know if it was post-COVID that did it for me, but I think I hate to bring that up. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, PTSD. I'm good.
Still too soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't really want to be contactable all the time. I realize like in my studio when I'm sitting with a client, the last thing I want is to be like getting these random texts through. And whenever someone messages me that doesn't often message me, I just get like a wave of anxiety.
Me too.
It's bad.
It is bad. Do you know what? Why is it when someone messages me, I am obligated? Like, it's just another thing on my to-do list. Do you know what I mean?
And I also like mark as unread like we're on emails now. Like if I've
you do?
Yeah, because I'm like, I've opened this and if I don't reply like right now, I'll forget about it forever. So I have to mark as unread. It becomes like, don't get me wrong, my friends, I love you. Please message me. But like when I'm at work, I want to focus on the nails. I don't want to be stressed. And when my dad randomly messages me, my dad's an accountant and my accountant, he'll message me and be like, hey, so honey, I need your Amex from June 23rd to, and I'm like, I can't do this right now. I don't want to
No.
think about my Amex bill. I want to think about doing these nails. Like, I'm sitting there while my client's talking to me about their partner and what's going on with them. And I'm thinking like, okay, if I do the 3D gem on this nail, they won't ruin it because they do like barista work on weekends. So like, and then my
Smart.
dad's like, hey, your Amex bill. And I'm like, I don't really want to think about that right now. So
But I don't know if you ever want to think about your Amex bill.
that's true.
Like, I don't know if you'll ever.
Well, my notifications are
around
all
that.
off too, obviously,
Yeah,
with the do
okay.
not disturb. So,
But
like,
how do
I'm
you do
really
that?
ignoring a lot of things.
Okay, perfect. Me too. Okay, this
Yeah.
is good. I've met a fellow ignorer.
Yeah, like-
ignorer? Yeah.
I want to be imagine if my phone was going off right now. Terrible, bad
Well,
conversation.
no, you would actually get in trouble. I haven't checked if my alarms are off, my random alarms for any time or day.
See, I don't have to worry about that.
Why? Oh, do not disturb.
Exactly.
Obviously, duh.
My phone's over there in the ether. I don't know what's going on with her. I don't need to.
Yeah, but then, so how does that work? Because your business is so online.
Okay, well, to be fair, my friends do call me iPhone.com.
Okay.
So even though it's on...
So I'm seeing some disparity between little thing, reality.
Can we call it regulation?
Okay, perfect.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Fine. Allowed.
A compromise.
Approved.
I'm just like, if it's on Do Not Disturb, and then the second that like I'm finished with a client or whatever, like I'm gonna go to the bathroom, clean the table, and then I'll check my phone and I'll reply. It goes in order of work stuff first.
Yeah.
This is making me sound really neurotic, but I
No,
am,
I
so
love
it's fine.
this. This is I think you're the opposite of me in that
Oh,
kind of way.
really?
So I'm gonna learn a lot from you. I
Yeah,
feel.
I just have had to do a lot of things. So like having the business and being like a kind of I don't know how to describe myself, but a bit all over the shop. A bit airy fairy. Having the business has made me like really pull in some weird routines. So when my client like goes and I've done the cleanup, I'll check my phone and it'll go work stuff first. So if I see any of my clients' names, I'm like, okay, this could be they're running late or they want to let me know what they're doing today.
Yeah. What do you mean what they're doing today?
Like for the design of their
Oh, what they're doing.
nails.
I thought you meant just like in life. And I'm like, what? Well, that's nice. You have a really
When
close
they
relationship.
come in, they give me the full breakdown.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so then I like will check that first, and then when I'm done checking that, I go onto Instagram and I check my work Instagram, and that's when I reply to any DMs and also check if my clients have maybe messaged if they're going to be late or something there. And then when that's done, I get into my personal life and my voice with my friends. You guys are lost. Sorry.
Well, they're like
It
20
could be-
minutes. They're longer than this podcast.
Truly. How long is
Ridiculous.
this one?
This is gonna. Well, it depends. How
I'm gonna
much we
send it to
cover.
all my voice by my friends.
Yeah, exactly. This is your
Um,
penance.
Get ready.
Yeah.
No, so I think they're my last. And then anyone I need to call back is like bottom. And actually, WhatsApp is the last thing I'm
I
checking.
know. Please don't WhatsApp me or add me to a WhatsApp group chat.
I'm only getting added to WhatsApp group chats when they're like spam.
Oh,
Or my family in Greece, actually, we've got one.
yeah. Do you
I
ever
don't-
reply? Yeah. I've got
Sorry.
Griffin Family Wordle since 2020.
Family Wordle is
Never
crazy.
responded once, but like if I left, I'd be in so much
I'm
trouble.
going to ask my
so
parents if they know
just
what
mute
Wordle
that.
is. That you're just muting it?
Oh, yeah, it's muted. I never reply.
Also, does it ruin the Wordle?
Well, I don't do Wordle. I'm
Okay.
not doing Wordle.
I have so many questions
Yeah,
about the family
How
group
did this
chat.
happen? I think I was there when it got created, and then it started this whole like saga,
Okay.
and then I'm just too polite, and my mum's too scary, and all of that.
Fair enough.
But you work with your dad.
Both my parents are accountants, so I work with
Okay.
both of them technically.
Okay, what's that like?
It's pretty hectic having your parents be like totally across your finances as a grown adult. Wouldn't recommend it, but it's kind of fine. They're pretty chill, but my dad will sometimes
You
just
say
be
that
like,
with like, and your eyes twitching.
because I'm like, I asked them like, help me budget, like learning to run a business. Like
Yeah.
I just did this on the fly. It wasn't something that I like intended on doing. I didn't do business. I did journalism actually. I
Cute.
Can I have a job?
Yeah,
Cool.
of course. Oh my god.
Thanks. Yeah, so I didn't do any business, anything really. So I'm really trusting my parents a lot here. And sometimes I'll ask them for advice and be like, hey, so like help me budget. What's going on with the business? Like where can I? My dad's like, stop spending.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was
that's
dad
so
advice. That's not
unhelpful.
accountant advice.
Yeah.
That's my dad just being like, enough's enough. And I'm like, where is the money going?
And also, where's the line? When are we having a like Vic, your life needs, you need to look at your life, you need help chat versus a Vic, I'm looking at your accounts and do spend less.
you
chat.
only need so many nail gems.
Yeah. But you've proven them wrong, I think, in that. So
yeah.
far.
I mean, now I'm running out of storage space. So that's,
Well,
yeah.
Bigger studio? spend more? That the solve? I don't know.
I don't know about that one. I'm not sure. My studio lease runs out in May next year and I'm freaking out because I'm like, what do I do with all this stuff?
It's really pretty as well.
Thank you.
Your space, so you
It's
actually
a lot
can't.
of stuff though. I've accumulated after my 3 years there. I'm like, I've got furniture, floor to ceiling. I've got shelving.
Yeah,
It's
well,
crazy.
Bring it here. We'll have it
I'm
here.
moving into this
Yeah,
room.
exactly.
I'm going to be the company's at-home nail tech.
Don't say things you don't mean.
I
Vic.
can do it. If we can get budget going,
I've run the budget. That's fine. Approved. Yep.
amazing.
Sick.
You
Love.
guys can do meetings. Like I can have Kumi who works
Yeah.
with me like alongside me, and you guys can do meetings while you get your nails
I
done.
think Abby from my team might pass out.
Yeah, I'm
Honestly.
really keen to do this.
Yeah, okay.
I've been floating
Okay.
it with one of my friends that works
know what we
at
could do?
Redact at a different company, and she's not making it happen. If you can make this happen, I'm down.
I'm making it happen. And also we could do like little punky nails.
I'm ready.
That would be so cute.
Say the word.
But what I want to know about is the regimented stuff that you do, because that is like crazy, because I don't do anything like that whatsoever. Like my brain just
Yeah.
hasn't worked that way. But I feel like I'm maybe 2 years behind you, because you run a business. I run the Junkie Media business, Punky being one of the publications we have. Illy Punky audience. But I'm not at that place, and I would love to be really regimented about how setting my time up to be more like, I guess, productive, but also just like work better for me. So what are like the weird things you do in the office? Maybe let's start there, or in the studio, because you don't really have an office.
Yeah.
Here's your office now.
It is. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I'm so happy to
anytime.
be here.
Yeah.
In the studio, okay, so when I get in, it's like, oh God, I'm going to sound really crazy. So I get in and I just like chuck all my bags down and stuff in the back room, turn on the speaker, turn on the TV, connect to YouTube, play whatever mixes up. Normally it cycles the same 10 songs, and just like flick all the lights on, make myself like a little oat hojicha, oat chai, and then just wait like this for my client to come in through the door. No, feed my plants if they're looking sad.
Yeah.
The routine in the studio is kind of chill because it's such a cycle now. It's so
Yep.
second nature. So when my client finishes, I say goodbye, wipe my desk down, put my tools in the like cleaning bay, and then I'm ready for my next. Pretty much, I do my little text response. It's my home routine that's kind of.
Okay, tell me then.
I just like get home again, chuck all my bags down.
Yeah.
I'm normally like 15 bags.
Why do you have all these bags?
Because I like
Press-ons?
No, when I finish my clients' nails, I like do a hot towel for their hands.
Oh, nice.
So then they
The
have
full
to
treatment.
be laundered.
Yeah.
And I am
The launderer.
Yeah, well, thankfully, like Kumi splits the half, but like when it's just me working, it's just me. So I just take my bag of laundry, my gym bag, my handbag, and I come home like a packed mule.
Yeah.
Dump everything down, and then I shower before I touch anything because I don't want my dirty clothes that are covered in like nail dust touching my bed or anything.
Yeah. Love.
Shower, get out. I put on the kettle before I go in the shower. My roommates say that they know when I've come home because they hear the kettle go.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then I make myself a little sleep tea, have a shower, get out. I don't
Straight
touch-
away from when you get home, you're into your sleep tea already. No wine or anything.
No, I don't drink through the week.
Oh, you don't? How
No.
come?
I don't want to feel tired.
Yeah.
Like I think unless it's like a birthday or a celebration, I kind of feel if I keep my routine quite simple, I don't feel as exhausted. And I still do things after work. Like tonight after this, I'm going to the film fest.
Yeah.
So like I'm still like running around to things, but like I just find, I don't know, I keep it simple. I like alcohol for a celebration or like precursor to a dance just to warm the limbs, but I don't really want to do that all through the week. No judgment, but it's not my. I just feel like I'll get tired.
I still want like a special drink though, and there's so many good like low alc or no alc options now that you can actually drink, like
Absolutely.
Mocktail Mule, lovely.
100%. Anything with a sparkle makes you feel like it's a bit of fun. I realize that's the key almost.
Yeah.
If it's cold and sparkling, it doesn't matter if it's got alcohol in it. It's a good
Absolutely.
time.
Yeah.
A little fruit doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it just elevates the whole moment, and then you're like,
100%.
okay, I'm doing something nice for myself.
Should I clarify that I know lime? Wait, is lime a fruit?
I don't know what it is.
Okay. That
I
sounds
actually
really dumb.
unsure.
That sounds really, really dumb.
I'm
Sorry.
actually, no, but I'm just there with you. That's the problem. It's like you were looking
Someone's
to
gonna
me
be
for
like,
clarification.
that's not. I'm
and
like, listen, I don't know what that is. In fact, a citrus.
But I'm liking it.
Wait,
I'm
citrus
enjoying
fruit.
it.
Okay, cut
Yeah, it's
all of
citrus
this
fruit.
out.
Yep.
This is
We'll just
off the
we'll see
record.
what
I'm
happens.
stupid.
Yeah. Off the record.
The nail dust has
Exposed.
gotten to me. My brain's rotted.
Yeah, no, that's so bad. Okay, but back to routine stuff though. So,
So
you're
make my
doing your
tea.
tea. Yeah.
I don't touch my left hand to anything when I get out of the shower.
Mm.
This sounds so crazy because
Wait,
I have to do my,
left hand?
yeah, I'm left-handed.
Okay.
Because I have to do my skincare with a hand that hasn't touched anything. Like, I'm an acne girly, so I'm so scared of like touching
Right.
any surface that will make my skin break
Feel
out.
that deeply. to
I
my
breathe
core.
and it breaks out. I'm like,
Yeah.
what's your problem?
I know, and it affects your whole view of like, or you just kind of feel a bit shit
Oh,
up.
well,
when
I'm
your
glad
skin's
we're
playing
sitting this
up.
way because I got a real honker for my period last week
Oh,
on
well,
this side.
I'm on tretinoin now, and it's changed my life.
I'm on it.
Oh, you're on it? Oh,
I'm
good.
on it.
Welcome. Oh,
Thank
my
you.
God.
Yeah. My hormonal breakout still comes, but
She
it
calms
does well.
down a
Better
bit.
than Roaccutane. I did that twice and it was hell.
Yeah, no, I've never done that.
Can't recommend it.
No, I shan't be doing it. No. But okay, so and then what happens?
I do my skincare with my left hand. It hasn't touched anything. And then I have a robe. And so when I get out of the shower, I'm like in my robe. I don't towel dry myself.
You've got it all figured out.
Yeah. I like a little daily luxury. If you have a daily luxury, you don't end up needing to like blow out so much in some other way of unwinding.
Yeah.
So I keep my routine really cute. And then I'm in my little robe and then I'll put my trackies on. And then I have my phone time, but I don't sleep with my phone in my room.
Yeah.
So I bought a fancy alarm clock.
Yeah.
And then like replace that basically. So then I'll do I'll edit my nail photos, maybe post a video, whatever, do my emails, and then my phone goes on charge in my living room. And then I'm just in bed, just waiting for sleep time to come.
And does it come?
Absolutely. It's the best time. I love it. I can't believe I've become like such an introvert, but that'd be a lie actually. I'm not an introvert, but I do really like my wind down.
Yeah, it sounds like a sick wind down. I don't have anything I need to work on those
Then I got my
things.
little tea.
Every single time you have to make a decision, you're like taking up energy. I hate making decisions about what I'm going to eat. I find that super annoying. I don't want to have to be like, oh, what food do we have in? And then like go and cook. It's just so much effort during the week or whatever. The whole decision making process takes up a lot of energy. So it's nice if you just know what you're going to do because you always do it that way.
100%. And I even put like all my personal life things in my booking system.
Okay.
That I use for work to like organize my clients because it just means that everything is in all my calendars. And that helps. So then, I know what my day looks like. And the second my night is done, I'm like, okay, cool. I have the room to just go home, do my little routine and crash out. It's great. It's the best.
You've got it figured out, I feel.
I really do. I like it a lot. I would be lying if I said I didn't. And then my alarm clock is amazing. It's got all these...
hang on. I do want to talk about this alarm clock.
Oh my God. I don't they're not paying. So I don't know if I should even get into it, but it's really
No, get into
good.
it because I'm here for these kinds of hacks.
It feels like something Gwyneth Paltrow would push.
Yeah, okay, fine.
It's called a Lofty.
Okay.
And it's like, it's the least ugly modern alarm clock I could find because I'm very aesthetically inclined. I really didn't want something ugly. I wanted like the flick one, but then I was like, the sound of the flicking of the little, that would drive me nuts.
Yeah.
So I have the Lofty and it literally has like sleep sounds, meditation sounds, any colored noise that you could possibly want. Like I'm talking
colored noise?
like white noise.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They've got every good white noise, pink noise, brown noise, like every color.
Brown noise?
I don't know
What's
the
brown
fucking
noise?
difference. Well, sorry, I don't know the
No, you
difference.
can swear, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
You're
have-
like, be at home here.
Thank you. My home.
Yeah, no, truly. You never leave.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Did the door just lock?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's got every colored noise, and it's also got like my favorite is like it's got like campfire crackling.
I feel that's Christmassy.
True.
I like that because we're not going to have that in Sydney.
Okay, yeah, that's true. We can pretend.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's got like riverbank, and it's got like all these different cute sounds. It's got New York City in case someone feels like listening to like honks and alarms going off. But I'm obsessed with it.
Oh, okay. Okay, I need to get this for sure. What about being creative and staying creative? Because obviously so much of your work comes from creativity, but how do you find time for that?
That one's a work in progress.
Yeah.
I feel like that'll be an eternal struggle. I think that's just a bit of a classic thing of doing anything creative. But the decision fatigue thing is very real. Like I bought these jeans in two pairs, same color, same size, the full shebang, 2 pairs, so that now for like 3 seasons of the year, I just wear them on rotation with a different top every day to work.
Love that. That's
I
really
just
smart.
I didn't mean to Steve Jobs it, but it's happened because I just can't be bothered thinking about getting dressed in the morning. And that helps definitely being more creative because I'm like, there's one less thing I had to think about. I also do eat a lot of those like gym bro meals.
Okay.
Those
like
micro
what?
meals, those like protein meals.
So do I.
I mean, again,
good.
just take something off my plate.
Yeah.
Basically, everything I could outsource, I've outsourced, which sounds really bratty.
What else?
Mainly cooking. I don't cook.
Yeah, I don't cook.
I don't enjoy it.
No.
like do a little chia pod for breakfast or whatever, like high protein with some yogurt. But that's kind of it. I just don't really enjoy it that much, and someone else is going to do the job better than me.
Yeah. It's just not an area where you want to invest your time.
No.
Yeah.
And it sounds ridiculous, but I think anyone else who like does content for work or like has a business knows that like every other second is accounted for by something else. So everything that can take off my plate means that I've got more room to like do more video content, edit, film stuff. I don't have that otherwise. And I did a book last year, and if I was cooking for myself, running the business, seeing all my clients and doing that, I think there's no way. I was working from like 7 a.m. till 2 a.m.
Far
for like
out.
2 months straight. And so the thought of having to like cook is crazy. And I don't enjoy it. If people love it, I totally understand, but
Yeah.
it's not for me.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like I will cook on a special, or not even a special occasion, just like if I fancy it on a Sunday or whatever, but I can't be bothered thinking about it, nor do I have the energy. But how did you realize that? How did you come to the place where, because actually, this is lame, but I have a leadership coach now because I was like, no one tells you how to manage all the stuff around a business and like all the different things that draw your attention or whatever.
A lot of moving parts.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts, as you would know. And one thing she said to me was, what you're asking of your body is to operate like an Olympic athlete.
Yeah.
Like, but you're not behaving in the same way that an Olympic athlete would in terms of setting themselves up and making their life focus around this priority. Not at the expense of everything else, but like people can only operate at that kind of elite high level for so long before they burn out if they don't put themselves into like the best position to do that. And I was like, oh my God, so true. Because I don't really take myself seriously enough. I'm just kind of like, I'm fine or whatever. And then you get yourself into a position where you're like super burnt out or depressed or whatever. And then you're like, I could have just probably thought about it, set myself up better, and then found I could continue to do the things that I love in a better way instead of giving things like 50% of my time.
100%. I think that's really sound advice, and it is a really good way of looking at it. I think it's like a weird thing, maybe for our generation especially, like moving through the world trying to work out the most functional way to be while also not falling into maybe like capitalist traps of trying to be like productive 24/7.
Yeah.
And it's hard when it's something you're passionate about to work out the balance of what you're doing for you and what you're doing because you feel like you need to be productive all the time. But I do think I think I just got burnt out. I definitely hit the limit when I was working a lot and doing those crazy hours. I wasn't going to the gym, and that's something that I do just because I'm hunched over all of the day. If I don't do something that feels like I'm like back in my body and like, you know, moving my muscles so that I'm strong, capable, and not, you know, making my scoliosis 10 times worse, then I'll just be really unhealthy in the long run. And I think longevity is kind of hard in physical jobs, and your body reminds you quite constantly about your limits. So getting certain pains in my hands and my shoulders, my back has really forced me to like live a healthier lifestyle. So I think that pushed it. And also circling back, when you want to be creative, you just can't really be thinking about 50 things at once. You have to like choose to like put everything aside for a second, clear your mind to get inspired. And sometimes that happens like I could look at that and be like, oh, that'd make a really cute set of nails. And take inspiration from there. But if I'm not taking time in new spaces or
going to the film fest.
if the only places I'm spending time between my home and my studio, I'm not going to be inspired. So I've realized just like carving out time. If I live a healthy lifestyle, I outsource the skills that I'm not that great at and other people are maybe better at. And I focus the time that I do have on my work and on leaving the house so I can be inspired again. I work best that way. And I've realized I like to leave Sydney once every 3 months at least, which I know sounds really bratty and kind of excessive. And I'm not saying overseas, like budget doesn't always allow it, but even if it's just like going to Melbourne, or my friend that lives up in the Blue Mountains, like heading up to her place for a weekend, or I just like to get out of my routine at least once every 3 months to just mentally reset. Or camp, anything. You just have to be out of your normal routine.
Camping?
It's great.
No. But tell me about how you started in nails.
So I loved it always. My mum and my auntie used to have a nail tech, Liz, come to their house.
I don't know anyone who had a nail tech come to their house.
You know what? I've never asked how they met Liz. I have no clue. I'm going to ask them after this. But she would come to the house and do their nails. And this was like in the days of like square acrylic
Yeah.
with like nail polish on top. And I would like reorganize her polishes in color order because I loved it. And then at the end of like every season or session, she would like give me the ones that were kind of like a bit used up, a bit
Oh, that's
claggy.
nice of her.
It's very sweet. Look, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, what are you going to do with my kid? She was like, I would have just gotten that stuff everywhere if it was at its
Yeah.
normal running liquid texture.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I just was obsessed with it from then. And then when I was at uni, I worked at a shoe store in Wynyard. And upstairs, there's a Japanese nail salon. And the owner used to come in and buy shoes from us and we'd have a chat. And she was like, come get your nails done. I said, okay, sure. I went up there, met one of her nail techs, Sumi, who was super lovely. She was doing my nails, and I just telling her about how much I've always loved it. And I'd bought a nail lamp when I was about 16 from eBay. Don't do that. It's not good. The quality's not good. Anyway, and I don't know how I didn't give myself an allergy, but anyway. And I'd always been obsessed with it, but I'd never gotten good at it. And the products you can get without a license back then were trash.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was talking to her about it and she was like, you should do our course. I said, sure. She trained me. And then they wrote me a letter in Japanese and I went to Japan and I bought my kit there. And so it just kind of, at this point, I had no intention of doing it as a job. I just enjoyed having this little hobby. So I do my nails, I do my friends, my mom's. And then I ended up just continuing to do that for years. It was probably like, that was when I was like 19 maybe. And then I did that up until I was about 25. Maybe when I was about 24, I started like posting about it on Instagram because I had some friends who worked in fashion. They would get me on editorials, which was really sweet, especially because I wasn't very good. But eventually more and more people started asking. Friends started asking them, friends of friends, and it kind of broadened. And then at that point, I was like, my first paid client that wasn't someone I knew, complete stranger off the internet, and she sat at my dining table like my auntie and mum used to have their nail tech come over, but she came to my house and sat at my like share house dining table and I did her nails, and they were actually cute.
Yeah, what were they?
They were sunflowers, like hand painted sunflowers.
That's cute.
They were really sweet. And then I ended up moving into a house that had my room was massive, like this size. It was ridiculous for a bedroom.
Yeah.
Maybe the only big bedroom in the inner west. It's crazy.
Love.
And I started just like, I set up a little table and I started just taking clients after work. So I'd work my 9 to 5. I was working in marketing, work my 9 to 5, come home. I'd have someone like 6 till 8 or 8:30 and then 8 till 10:30. And then
at that point, were you thinking, oh, I will like make this thing my career? Or were you still just thinking like, this is something I love to do after work?
I think I just enjoyed it. I didn't think about making my career because I was honestly getting enough content at that point to like run no one knew that I wasn't doing it full time.
Yeah,
There was enough Instagram footage to go around.
You're a busy gal.
So so it didn't look like the business. Like I felt embarrassed that I was doing it in my bedroom and that I was like, had a whole other job. I kind of felt like a bit of a phony, but it was, without my full-time job, I wouldn't have had the income to like build my kit because it's expensive. Like a regular quality gel polish is going to be around the $35 mark.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, if it's quality, it's going to cost a bit.
Yeah.
So especially because I was importing from like Japan and Korea. And so it was expensive. And if I didn't have the marketing job, I wouldn't have been able to afford to build my kit up. I think it's really hard to do it from the jump. And to be honest, I was making good money. Like it was my first job that I'd gotten out of uni that paid well. And so I was kind of just rolling in it for a minute there. I was really enjoying like doing what I loved. Also had like a marketing job that I like took pretty cruisy. And I was kind of building my business slowly on the side and making a ton of money that I could spend on more nail stuff. So I was pretty happy.
But then what happened?
I had a fight with my boss.
Oh my God, I asked it so ominously, not thinking that there'd be an ominous answer. And you're like, no,
I
we
had a
actually
creepy
fell out.
boss.
Oh shit,
I know,
okay.
it sucks.
You can tell me who after. Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. It was a really grim reminder that I guess like being a young woman in some workspaces can be pretty intimidating.
Right.
And so I kind of had some beef with him and then opted out.
Right.
I just like quit on the Monday, said I wasn't going to go back in. I put my bookings live on the Wednesday and then I was booked out.
Obviously, that's an awful experience and you don't want anyone to have that experience. Do you think you would have gone out on your own eventually anyway had that not happened?
Hard to say. I probably would have left that job, but
Yeah.
I did enjoy marketing too. I guess the good thing with having a business is I get the best of both worlds now.
Yeah.
I kind of get to lean into both those skills or like interests pretty well. Like branding my nail business was like, I don't know, it wasn't super common. Like you might have like a logo, but I'd like I hired one of my friends to do my full branding with icons that were for each of the like highlights on Instagram, and then a video to launch the branding, and like stickers that would be put in through Giphy so you could put them on Instagram, and then my text logo that would opt into my like name logo for my business card. Like everything was, I put a lot of effort into that,
Yeah.
which I think it wasn't very common to do that in the beauty biz at the time,
Yeah.
at least on the scale that I was doing in my bedroom still.
What year was this?
2019, yeah.
Those like pre-COVID, post-COVID years are such a blur, hey?
Yeah, it was crazy. So I think I was like lucky in that if I didn't have my experience in like marketing, I probably wouldn't have um thought to like really push this out as a brand instead of just me doing nails.
Mm.
I just think, yeah, fleshing it out a bit more and giving it a look and giving it a style that went from the branding all the way through to the nails themselves is just kind of, I was lucky that I think it worked very well on,
I don't know if it's lucky though.
maybe.
So you start it.
Yeah.
Did you ever think it would become what it has today? And you've worked with Dua Lipa, MIA.
No, I have imposter syndrome. Absolutely not.
Yeah,
I
okay.
still am like, I don't know what the hell it is yet.
Yep.
But I feel like if I thought that I'd like really hit the pinnacle of my career, I probably like wouldn't be as focused, I guess, as I am, or like determined to like make something new or explore it in a different way. I think that, yeah, I think no.
Yeah.
No is the answer
No.
to that. No, and I still don't feel that way. Like those opportunities are cool, but they're just like random fleeting opportunities. Like you just get a message from someone's personal assistant. You're like, this could be a scam. But
I'll
sure,
show up
I'll reply.
at 8 a.m. and see what happens.
Absolutely. And like it's cool. Like you get to
Yeah.
like meet people that are like, oh damn, like I love your work and it's cool that I'm getting to do my job across from you. Strange. A bit weird when you're like, oh, I've
Hey.
watched a million videos of you and I'm sat here. But yeah, I don't think those are never the things that I like measure my business or career by.
Now, what I want to know is, so obviously really busy at work, writing a book, super crazy hard.
Ridiculous.
Yep.
Thankfully, mainly pictures, like a lot of pictures. They took up a lot of pages.
But how do you kind of go about planning for super busy periods?
I kind of don't. I normally just like blindly agree.
Okay. Yep.
And then
what I
the
do.
timeline is like I'm like, oh my God, yes, that sounds amazing. Of course, I'm so down to do that. That sounds perfect. And then I think about it and like tell my friends or my mom or my dad, and I'm like, yeah, so I'm gonna do this thing. They're like, yeah, that sounds great, mad, great. And then I like lay asleep a bit
Yep.
like this. Just,
Okay.
I'm freaking out a little bit. Yeah. And then I think to myself, oh my gosh, I'm in bed. I should have stayed up. If I stayed up till at least midnight, then I could have got 7 hours sleep and woken up and started work on it again. So I kind of don't really know how to prepare for it. But what I am better at it now.
Yeah.
Where I just say to myself, okay, like there's some things I can't do in this time. So I'm not drinking. I'm
Yeah.
not partying. I'm giving myself like bedtimes.
You're not doing 365 party girl?
No, 365 party girl. Unfortunately, I think those days might be long
Yeah.
over.
Fair enough.
They're for holiday periods only.
Yeah. Especially because dry July is coming up. So it's always like a good prompt for me to think about these things too.
That's when I get really into my routine. When I know I've got big deadlines and I've got a lot on, I'm like, okay, we're just keeping things real tight. Like everything is as simple as it could possibly be. Even if my friends want to hang out, it's maybe a movie, or I say like, you can come over and we can be nonverbal together because I have work to do. And now like we'll just have a show on and we'll both be like, thankfully I have a lot of friends who are like, writing or editing or whatever. And so we're just like tandem working together and
Like your own version of a book club.
a little bit, yeah. And we have frangos there.
Yeah.
I don't think they
Oh,
let
nice.
frangos go at the book club. I think
Yeah,
it's like
fair enough.
greasy on the
Yeah.
pages or something. I don't know. But we get frangos and we sit there and we tandem work,
Yeah.
So I prepare for the busy times by just being like, okay, we're clearly not going to cook.
Yeah.
We're clearly, so okay.
Being honest with yourself, I think, is very important. Like, I always
Why?
think future Alice will be better than present Alice, and she isn't. Oftentimes, she's worse.
No.
So
I've
that's the thing.
accepted my status as like a bit of a piece of shit, and that's
Okay.
fine.
See,
Like,
that's what I need to do.
yeah, I'm comfortable. I know where my strengths are. Like, I
Yeah.
know it sounds bratty to be like, I outsource things and I don't cook and I whatever, but I know what my strengths are.
Yeah.
There are so many people who are so good at those things, and you know, like my friends would laugh at me all the time and be like, oh, you can't even cook that. How'd you burn that? And I'm like, can you paint a tiny sunflower on a fucking nail?
No, you
No.
can't. Sit down
I
and
stick to my
relax.
strengths. So to spin it positively, I stick to my strengths. I know what I'm good at. And I just say to myself, okay, so like you're not going to cook.
Yeah. It's not realistic.
No, your laundry once in the week.
Yeah.
If I get a spare second, I'm like, do your sheets now because then it's not happening.
Yeah.
And I just keep things really simple, minimize as much as possible. And I get through, and then I don't hate myself for trying to keep up with my lifestyle as per.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just don't pretend that I can be as social, that I can party, that I can do all these things. I can't.
Yeah.
And like, I think when I was younger, I did both.
Yeah.
But you have a crazy energy when you're young, and you don't have
Yes,
that
oh
much
my God.
responsibility. Like, if I rocked up to work when I was in my office job, you can kind of be at peace in the morning. You can rock up and like, depending on how intense your work is. Whereas like when I do nails, like my client at 10 a.m. doesn't give a shit what I was doing last night. Like they do,
Yeah.
as in they want to know.
Yeah.
But
But they don't want the impact on their beautiful nails that they've been waiting
No.
especially for you to do.
I can't be
Like,
nipping cuticles and making
No,
a
you
mess and
can't.
getting gel all over the spot because I,
yeah.
you know, had one too many beers. It's not happening.
Mm.
So I think it just like magically tightened up having a business and having a job where I'm like face to face with like 5 people a day who like come to me, spend their hard earned money with me and like want a nice service. You know, I want to show up and like I want to show up at 110 and there's an expectation that I will. Like at the end of the day, like I don't want someone walking around for 4 weeks with my work on them and it looks like shit. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, that's so interesting, hey, because every single part of it is like every single
business
nail
card
is a personal
everywhere.
brand. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Stress. But it has changed the game. So I think it was my hairdresser. I was at DD & Co. Do you know them in
Yeah.
Marrickville? They do amazing hair. But my hairdresser had her nails done and then I was like, I have such shitty nails. I would love to have like to just feel more elevated. This was like 2 years ago and she was like, just get, because these are acrylic, which you'd be able to tell because you know everything. You're like, I can see your eyes. You're
No,
like,
I could just see
boring
it.
in.
You can only see it from the underneath.
But then I started getting them done and it's actually really, like I don't feel like myself now if I don't have nails on.
Yeah.
It's such a nice way to explore your creativity, but also your sense of self and kind of connect with different vibes and moods and eras of whatever I'm feeling. Like this does actually go with this outfit.
It really does.
I'm really happy about it.
I think it does. A lot of people do love it as a space for self-expression. I think it's a
Yeah.
really fun way to look at it because beauty can be, I guess like the beauty industry is like equal parts great and evil.
Yeah.
We have to acknowledge it.
For
It's
sure.
kind of a bit freaky how I guess like body negative it can be. But the amazing thing with nails is that it doesn't really matter. Like you don't have to be a particular size. You don't have to have a particular, you know what I mean? It's not so how heavy am I allowed to go?
No, get heavy. I think this is good.
It's not so limiting in the way of like I don't know, the way that some beauty treatments or beauty routines, they kind of lend to one demographic only. And
Yeah.
it tends to be like thin whiteness. And I think like nails are really fun because culturally there's so many ways that it trickles down from Black culture, from Asian cultures. And like it's now such a beautiful tool for self-expression that doesn't tend to exclude people. Obviously, I'm speaking from how I like things to run in my space where it's gender diverse and a diverse space generally, but I don't think a lot of other beauty treatments have that kind of range where it can appeal to every kind of person in a different way. And I think that's why it is such a nice tool for self-expression because it's not limited to being one kind of person only. You don't have to be thin and white to enjoy having your nails done.
Yeah, and I also think it's about, like, it's not, the inference with nails isn't coming from a place of, I'm not good enough, so I'm going to change this thing about my face or my whatever. It's coming from a place of, like, I just want to have cute nails. It just feels like a completely different energy than what you bring into a lot of different, like, beauty appointments that you may want to do.
100%. I feel like it can be transformative in the same ways without being so invasive on your idea of self. Instead, it feels like an expression of self instead of trying to conform to one standard of beauty, which is a really fun part about it. I love it.
What would you say is your view on personal style? Hard question, sorry.
No, it's not that. I think it's just weird. I feel really weird about it at the moment.
Yeah.
Because I work a few things.
Here we are.
No.
Welcome to my TED Talk.
Welcome to my fucking TED Talk,
No,
indeed.
truly.
Okay, so personal style, I think is really weird because I think it's impossible because we're constantly influenced by a million different things. I was actually talking to my friend about this the other day. We're just consuming way more content all the time, way more art, way more fashion, way more clothing, way more stores. Like we're constantly consuming. Even if you're not buying, I mean consuming media. Finding personal style, I feel like is just maybe an amalgamation of what you've seen, what you like, what works with your lifestyle. And I find like with time, I feel like my relationship with fashion has changed so much because I grew up loving it. Like when I was studying journalism, I assisted a stylist because I wanted to do fashion journalism, and that was kind of where my passion was. And you know, I was like Tumblr era,
Yeah.
really obsessed with
Fun.
like the Miu Miu, Sparrow, Sutton mules that were massive at the time, and that's where my love of fashion kind of grew. And so then I was always buying, always on eBay looking at designer stuff and like buying whatever designer stuff I could afford because it was like, you know, you'd have to rummage a little bit. But I collected some stuff that I still have now, like 10 years on, which is beautiful. But now that my job is like hands on, I'm covered in nail dust, I'm using paints. Gel
Yeah.
doesn't come out of anything. Gel does not come out of anything. Nothing. It's ridiculous.
So every day you're taking a risk. You're like, am
Yeah,
I
so
gonna
now I
ruin
just
these
wear
things?
like a rotation of t-shirts and jeans basically, or shorts in summer. And I'm also, yeah, like I'm kind of like legs spread under the desk because I have to stay steady. So I'm like
Yep.
so anchored. So now my style is like totally different. And I can't help but feel like a little bit jaded by it all now because financially it's impossible to keep up. The way
Yeah.
trends cycle is crazy. The way I feel about it environmentally is
Yeah.
weird. I love thrifting, but that's now become like
It's so expensive.
it's become expensive where it's become crap because we've
Yeah.
been so deep in fast fashion. What's cycling now is just polyester. Before I could find silk, I could find wool, I could find like I mean it's still polyester, like those beautiful 90s crepe dresses. You just don't find that now. So I think personal style feels like a too personal question, I'm not gonna lie. No, it just feels a bit weird now because it feels so related to my lifestyle. And I thought that would probably only happen if I like became a mom or something.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would like lose all sense of my own personal style just by doing a job that is maybe like a little bit dirty actually, and like not dirty but messy, and that working all the time would like mean I would have to be really practical. Also having a business, like when something breaks, like that's my problem.
Okay, so I think this is my favorite part of each episode.
Oh.
So just
I'm
buckle
on the
in.
edge of my seat.
And especially
if this microphone wasn't here, I'd be on the edge of my seat.
So, during our chats for this podcast episode, I asked you to share with me a little bit of advice that changed your life, and you came back to me and said, the wise man knows he knows nothing.
Yeah, it's really cheesy. I'm so sorry. It's
Yeah.
giving like live, laugh, love vibes. But I don't even know where it's from. I have no idea. It could be from an Erykah Badu song,
Yeah.
in which case it'd be a lot cooler. Actually, I think it is.
Really?
Check that.
Okay.
There's a solid chance. But I think it's just like good to not buckle down a little too much, get a little stubborn, or stop learning. I don't know. I don't want to become a stubborn old cranky person who doesn't see something new in every day. So I think like trying to stick by that attitude and just remind myself to be, I guess, open-minded to new things that I could learn or take from a situation just makes life a little bit more enjoyable. I also think I was talking to my cousin today and I said to her like, never say never. I don't know what I was saying that to her about, but I would stick with never say never.
That's a Justin Bieber song.
And
Less
he was
cool.
onto something. He was onto something.
So, I have to know, how does your little thing actually become your big thing?
I've always thought that being available was like just core to me. Like my friends literally call me iPhone.com. Like having to reply instantly just felt like it was like a necessary part of how I was moving through the world, part of my business, a part of how I was a friend. And then putting Do Not Disturb on was just like setting a boundary with, I guess, like some of the responsibilities in my life that maybe don't need a deadline. You know, I'm still always going to show up. And if someone really needed me, they'd always get through.
They could call twice. That's the
They
do not
could
disturb
call
thing. Hey, yeah,
twice,
it goes through
absolutely.
eventually.
So I think I'd encourage more people to do it. Not
Mm.
being constantly available, it does make people have to like reset their expectations of you. And sometimes it's a positive thing to like have a bit of breathing room from everyone being so instantly accessible. It makes everything feel a lot calmer.
You've got a bit of mystery about you.
I definitely don't.
I feel
But
you do.
thank you. I'm not answering your call. No,
Yeah.
what could she be doing?
Yeah.
No, I think, yeah, when you give yourself a little bit of breathing room, everyone also adjusts their expectations and you get a bit more room to just be yourself and have
Figure
some
it
alone
out.
time. And I think it does also help me not feel stressed all the time.
Mm.
Not being constantly available makes me feel like I don't need to be at the beck and call of like 10 different people at the same time.
Mm. And I guess it allows you space to be more creative, which I think is obviously what shows up in your business all the time. But something I'd love to think about too is like, how do I make space for the stuff that actually matters versus getting caught up in all the busy work stuff?
Yeah, you have to make everything else not an emergency. If it's not an emergency, it's not an emergency.
Yeah.
So it gives
Okay.
you a lot of breathing room.
Okay, well, that's definitely what I'm going to take away from this chat.
I'm glad I was helpful.
Oh,
in some way,
thanks,
shape, or form.
Vic.
Thank
So
you
nice
for
to
having
have
me.
you.
I loved it.
But one thing we do, like we will look in, just so
Okay.
you know, is you're going to be starting the Punky Nail Salon for sure.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm so ready. I have already worked out because I think these are really cool up here. We could get some down lighting going around it and it would really just brighten the space up. It's going to be so fun.
Okay, awesome. We'll talk more.
I've been mapping it out. Like there's a plug here. We've got some okay. No,
Yeah,
it's so
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
It's
Okay,
ready.
cool. Yeah,
Amazing.
and we'll come back and we'll update everyone on
Sink
when
in the
they
corner.
can book in. Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
We can even keep
Towel,
this.
I'll get you
like
a
this
launderer.
doesn't have to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, 100% mood lighting.
It's perfect.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do that.
Thank you. See you at the salon.
This Junkie Media series is executive produced by Alice Griffin, that's me, and Jana Anderson, and produced by Evie Giorgio and Talisha Vescio. Thanks to Angostura Bitters for making this episode possible. It's our fave addition to Nolo drinks this dry July.